It's a waiver wire Wednesday. We're going deep looking at all positions today like we do on every single Wednesday so you can get your pickups off the waiver wire this week. Some of your waiver wires have already ran, so you need that confirmation bias that I like your players. On top of that, you might be still picking up. You might be picking up later after today, maybe Friday, Saturday on some of these players as you're switching guys in and out. I got you. We're going to go deep. If you need deeper out running back and wide receiver, check out yesterday's videos as we're talking about the waiver wire every single day. And that's why you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're going deeper than anybody else on the waiver wire from Sunday to Wednesday, waiver wire content. On top of that, deep dives on all the trending players. That way you know their backstory, their advanced analytics, so you can make your decision with them. And then we're doing player rankings. We just dropped the running backs. 30 deep at running back on the rankings, 50 deep on Friday on wide receivers. And then we're looking at every single game, trying to identify which players you want to start, which players you want to bench, and we'll talk about every single player start-sit decision. Click that button. Stop missing out. This is all free, and Ric Flair's watching, and you don't want to disappoint him. Starting off, first player we're looking at off the waiver wire today, I am Darnold, getting it done this year. He has hit it on the fairway every single game from week 2 to now. Jacksonville on the road. We got Houston. We're throwing the ball. We're slinging it. We're going to Jaxson, Smith, and Jigba. He's really should be rostered. I feel a lot of start-sit questions. He's usually in there. He's safe to the fairway. He is safe to the fairway. There might be a couple more down games, but there'll also be a couple more pop-off games. But he's going to be safe to the fairway every single game for the rest of the season. Hassan Haskins is the big pickup this week. Him and Vidal, which we'll talk about. Hassan Haskins is going to get work and opportunity. We got the Dolphins this week. You might look at that. I don't have him ranked very high in my rankings video. You may want to check that video out. But he is a pickup if you're looking for touches and opportunities. I would not put him up over your usual starters. I would be looking at my upside wide receivers over him. If you don't need him, don't get him type of dude. But if you do need him, this is a running back that's in line to get some touches this week. Romeo Doubs should have been picked up. If not, if he got glossed over due to the bye week, pick him up. We got Cincy here. We should be blown up. We're the safest wide receiver on the Packers. They got the carousel effect. Any wide receiver on this team can get it on any given Sunday. You do not know which one. Romeo Doubs is just the more likely candidate. Mason Taylor, it is time, my friend. We've been talking about him since preseason. We've been looking at him at training camp saying, hey, eventually he's going to start popping. Eventually it's going to happen. He did it the last 2 games. He's been getting workload since week 3. 6 targets, 7 targets, 12 targets. 4 balls caught, 5 balls caught, 9 balls caught. It's happening. It's happening. He's a guy you can mess with your lineups. Denver matchup here. Then you got Carolina. It is what it is. Usually the tight end position is weak off the waiver wire, but we got some guys to look at. Trevor Lawrence. He's going YOLO right now, and he's hitting the fairway quite often. That's what you want out of your quarterbacks here that you're looking at off the waiver wire. A lot of people are down on him. Big performance against the Chiefs. We're taking off and running with it. 17 rushing attempts his last 2 games. That's probably what he needs to do. That's probably what's going to help him. They're 4-1 right now. They're doing solid. New coaching staff, new system, some things to iron out. But again, you're looking at Trevor Lawrence here. You got some fire game scripts still to come up this season. Kimani, Vidal, we do not know who's going to win out on the touches. It could be the hot hand, or it could be the hand that doesn't mess up as much, too. Think about the Cardinals game. The hand that doesn't mess up as much, too, is the one you're going to be excited about probably the most here. We do have the Dolphins. He's more explosive. I did a versus video on Monday on these 2 running backs. I believe you want to look at those 2 running backs, look at that deep dive, let that sink in, and just pick the one you want from those 2 running backs because it's split with the community. More people are talking up Haskins per AI, searching through all the tweets. What does that mean to me? Absolutely nothing. Kendrick Bourne should have been picked up right before that Thursday night game before he went off. But it was a Thursday night game. You're looking at Mac Jones. You're looking at the offense. Everybody else already got wide receivers, so they're probably, I'll sit this one out. could be sitting there on waivers. If he is, maybe pick him up. He's splashed. He's a crafty vet. I expect him to be volatile. I expect him to get some opportunities. I don't expect his wide receiver depth chart to stay unscathed and be healthy every single week. Bourne stepped up. He earned more. He'll probably earn more with you. I'll at least see what he's going to be up to here these next few weeks. Theo Johnson, another new tight end to look at. Week 4, we got 5 targets with Jaxson Dart. Now we got 7 again with Jaxson Dart. 3 touchdowns with Jaxson Dart. This seems to be a trend. Maybe you want to explore this. We do have Philly. This could be a nasty game script, but it's the Giants. It's Jaxson Dart. They're all going to be nasty game scripts. You're just going to have to pray to the fantasy football gods, but he is getting work. He is getting more snaps, or a lot of snaps. He always been getting snaps, but still, Theo Johnson getting more Dart. Jaxson Dart, because he takes off with it. 17 rushing attempts in the last 2 games. Just like Trevor Lawrence, but he's not Trevor Lawrence. He's not as nasty throwing the football right now. He's still trying to figure that out, but he's aggressive. He is very aggressive slinging the rock. Led all quarterbacks in college football last year in deep ball attempts. And if you look at his chart, I did a video on this on Monday on the trends. You look at his chart, there's like 5 or 6 dots where it's like out there in the universe of his pass attempts. He'll push it downfield. If he connects on one of the 2 of those, we're throwing it like 30, 40 times a game. That's going to be big production, but we're taking off with it. We're going to have a decent fantasy floor. Kendre Miller is one of the top handcuffs right now. Look at the touches. You look at the handcuff running backs, you look at their talent, and you're like, okay, draft capital, talent, this, that, we like that. And now we get in the season, we start looking at the workload. If those 2 start to marry, and now you look at the starting running back, and you're like, he gets a lot of touches. What do touches mean for running backs? More hits, more bangs, more boom boom, more chance for injury. Kendre Miller here. Look at this. Look at this, guys. 9 opportunities in week 3. Then we go to week 4, 11 carries and a touchdown. That's when people start to talk about him. We started talking about him in week 1. We saw those 5 carries. We saw that, and we're like, oh, this is something to pay attention to. We started putting him on the waiver wire content then. That's why you go to the other channels like, this ain't deep enough. This ain't deep enough. We're trying to beat the fab. It's the running back videos. We go 25 to 30 deep. We go 25 to 30 deep with the wide receivers. We're going over 30 deep today, guys. But 10 rushing attempts here. Week 5. Target here. We don't know when. We don't know if. But things are hitting. Round 3 pick. Explosive. They brought in gatekeeper running backs. He beat them out. Cloward-Hilaire. Cam Akers. You guys had to go. You had to go. They hated him at one point because he was always hurt. We're still here. Now we're getting touches. Kendre Miller. Look at him. Alec Pierce. Deep ball dandy. Air yards machine. Offense pushing the pace. A.D. Mitchell's in the doghouse. Last year, look at his numbers. Not just points per game, but look at the games. He just hits randomly, blowing up. That could happen again a few more times this year as he's getting deep targets downfield. Taysom Hill, he's just a vibe. He's just a vibe. He's not a predictable player. I think the only thing you can use as a predictable number with him is snaps. We're at a 14% snap rate. That was our first game back from that devastating injury. We're 35 years old. He might be dusty. We don't know. We don't know. That injury might be it. But again, it's Taysom Hill. We're going to throw the rock. We're going to run the rock, and we're going to catch the rock, which is totally different from any other player. And it's not like we have 50 players like this that have trends on. We don't. We don't. He's also 35, but he's also Taysom Hill. Who comes back at 35 this quick? That's a big question as well. But he's a vibe. You're either in or you're out. Bryce Young. You look at this Panthers team. They're always in weird game scripts, guys. They're always in weird game scripts. This is a gamble quarterback due to that because he's going to have to push for yards and opportunities. 3rd quarter, 4th quarter. You got the Cowboys coming up. Jets on the road. Road games for quarterbacks too. They're dangerous. They're scary, but they can also sometimes be good gambles for you. But gambles are gambles. They can go either way. But he is a good gamble quarterback to get you to the fairway. And there's matchups here where they're going to have to push it. Kenneth Gainwell. Jalen Warren's back, but he's proven he can be good. We've seen Arthur Smith here with the Falcons. We saw what he did with Bijan. He's going to be weird with these running backs. He always is. And then Caleb Johnson might come in right out of nowhere and then have a big 20-point game. Then we're all excited. Then we'll never see him again. That's Arthur Smith right now. But We definitely know that he's a good backup running back that can be used in a pinch. That's obviously stated what we saw in week 4. Josh Downs, he might be there, he might be not. He's a Colts wide receiver. They're going to be in explosive game scripts. He's proven that he's been good. We know he's good from years prior. Warren's there to steal up all the targets. Alec Pierce is there getting targets downfield. Daniel Jones doesn't care. He's new. He just wants to keep his job and facilitate the rock. Jonathan Taylor's been killing it. But there's going to be some moments where he hits by proxy, by default. Maybe you want that. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't want those down weeks mixed in with those big weeks. Maybe you don't. But A.J. Barner's another new tight end here we're looking at. 10 targets in the last 2 weeks. 7 targets last week. 3 targets in the last 2 weeks. Again, this is a tight end that's getting work that you're just praying that gets that touchdown. He gets that touchdown, he has a good week. He doesn't get that touchdown, he doesn't. Because he's not going to rack up the yards. He's not going to rack up catches. That is very rare that he'll rack up more than 5 catches in a game. He'll probably have a couple of those. He'll probably have a few of those. But it's going to be very rare, few and far between. You're looking for touchdowns, but routes ran, targets, volume in games, that's going to equate to higher chances of getting that. Spencer Rattler is a yellow quarterback. We do not know how much longer he's going to hold on to this job. We beat the Giants, so we're going to be good for a little bit longer. But we're pushing the pace here. 46 pass attempts, 34, 39, 27, 31. You're looking at fantasy points here. Per sleeper, basic points here. 11, 27, 13, 15, 18. He's at least getting you to the fairway. He's free. He's going to be in fire game scripts. He's pushing it down the field. You don't know what you're going to get. He's only got 1 interception on the season. He's got 2 fumbles, but he's got 1 interception on the year. Think about that. Tyler Allgeier is one of the best handcuffs out there. Bijan Robinson is getting a lot of work, a lot of touches. We know what we say about that. Now, Allgeier, okay, draft capital, doesn't matter, we're far removed, but we do have a 1,000-yard season, and now we're getting the touches. 10 carries, 16 carries, 16 carries. We're getting work here. So if something happens here to Bijan, you got this guy with this profile here that, as I already said, hey, there's something here. We know how it can be used. And now we're also getting workload on the side. That's a good thing to look at here. So if you're looking for a backup running back and it's a veteran, you don't want to mess with rookies, right here. Now you're looking at Tyquan Thornton. Really? He should be rostered. He should be rostered. But I like to bring him up too as a strategy standpoint because wide receivers in this mold have a strategy for lineup setting. And when you ask for start-sit questions, it's not really a smart move to do that with them. It's more like you got to understand what they are. I'm teaching the game of fantasy here as well, so you can understand the players and assets. So what this guy is a deep ball dandy. He gets the ball deep. We got big-time speed, big-time connection with our quarterback. We're not going to run a shit ton of routes. We're not going to get a shit ton of targets. We have 1 game with 9, but 3, 2, 5, 4. So we got to connect on that deep ball downfield. We connect on that, we're going to splash. We're going to hit big. But those balls, even though we play well, we get open, we get overthrown by the quarterback. Pass interference call, good. We're moving to chains. Doesn't help us in fantasy. Even though we're playing good, it may not be good for fantasy. That is the risk here. That is the risk, but big rewards. So if you need that boom bust play, these are the players to have. He's like a good bullet to have in the chamber when you need that. Because he's a high-end player for that. He's a high-end player for that. A.J. Dillon, we're watching Saquon Barkley. He's dealing with a knee, limited in practice. Wouldn't have practiced Monday. We're watching him. We're watching the other running backs as well. We might need to scoop them up. You may already have done that. You probably should think about that at least if you're hurting at running back. Same thing with Will Shipley. Same thing. I think it's going to be a committee. You just roll with one. Really depends on how bad you are at the running back position. Trey Tucker should be rostered, but he had a 4-point game against the Bears. 11 points in week 5. Could have been caught and released back to the waiver wire. Catch and release wide receiver. He's probably going to be like that throughout the year. Because look at the Raiders, look at Geno Smith. He's going to be like that all year long. He's going to be on waivers off and on all year long. He's got the speed. He's getting targets. 8 targets week 2, 9 week 3, 6 here in week 5. It is going to be volatile. Geno Smith is all over the place. Raiders all over the place. Trey Tucker, you're good to throw him in lineups. It's going to be a gamble. It looks like it's every other game. Brashard Smith. Now, if you're hoping for him to go boom last week, He's more of a long-term play. He's more of a hodl move. If you can't hold a hodl, don't get a hodl. Him, Jada Blue, some of these other players. These guys with immense upside, but you know a lot of dominoes got to fall for it to happen. We're watching the dominoes. Whenever I do a You Need video on him, I'm telling you right there in the intro, like, hey, I promise you guys, we're going to be watching the routes and the snaps. And that's why I'm doing the video. So you know when to strike. He's heating up. He's getting more word in the streets. He's heating up a little bit. But it ain't that time. It's time to hold hodl if you can. But if you can't, go the other way. But he is a hodl. He's a good hodl. He's one of the top hodls out there in the league. Ryan Flournoy. Now he went off. 9 targets, 6 balls caught, 114 yards. Good profile here. Everybody's trying to go after him. I think he's worth a pickup, but he's dangerous to start. But it would be nice to pick him up, watch him on your bench a little bit, and if it starts to trend, because you look at that size of just athleticism, small school prospect, but he just kept leveling up and figuring it out over time. Maybe he's starting to figure it out. Maybe it's just, that was my moment. That's my opportunity. I'm going to take it here from now on. And maybe he starts cashing. Maybe. He's got a profile that can get it downfield. That's something to pay attention to. This team's in fire game scripts. If I picked him up, I wouldn't pick him up to start. I would pick him up to watch just in case. Even if it blows up big on my bench, I'd still be happy. It didn't blow up in somebody else's lineup. Blake Corum. We got the Ravens this week. Oh my. They're giving up fantasy points. They're going to be behind. Cooper Rush is going to have a hard time. The run defense for the Rams, unless it's Christian McCaffrey, they're tough. So this isn't like optimal for them to just lean on Derrick Henry touch after touch. They're going to be ahead. He's going to be good as a stash if Kyron Williams goes down. Remember the formula. Running back, get lots of touches. Prospect profile, good to okay, great. Round 3 draft capital. Good production at Michigan. Already a year in the system, so that rookie time is done. Now we're getting a little bit of work in touches. 5 rushing attempts week 2. Then we go to 8. Then we go to 9. Scaled back against Niners. That makes sense. That game script, the fumble. Still got a little bit of opportunities in that matchup. Now we got a matchup here. That's fire. And Kyron Williams also fumbled in that game late, if you remember that. Sean McVay's just walking around pissed right now. Jalen Tolbert. Like, the Cowboys are still going to be in fire game scripts. Like, he's not a guy you're going to trust in your lineups ever at all. But he's going to give you some opportunity. He's going to give you some bang here and there throughout the season. You're just going to have to make that gamble. You ask, well, should I start him or should I not? I mean, it could be a fire matchup. It could be. All he has to do is bring in a couple balls. 6 targets in week 4. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But Sean Tucker. Something happens to Rachaad White, or if they get in the red zone and want to use Sean Tucker, they're going to use him. They're going to use him. He's going to cross the goal line. So again, let's look at this. So good prospect profile at college. Fall in the draft due to a heart condition. We go undrafted. Things fix back up. During that rookie season, we come back middle, late training camp. I don't think you guys remember that. So we really didn't have time to build rapport. And then on top of that, we're UDFA, so we're not getting work. UDFA, when you're that far back in the list, you're just watching a lot of that. You're just watching. You're getting a few moments. You're getting position drills. And then 11v11s, you're watching a lot. So during that time, you're watching, and then they keep bringing in good running backs. But we stick with the team. We stick with this team. So we have a good prospect profile from Syracuse. We're able to stick with the team after all that we went through. And now we show it off once last year, blowing up, I think, 32 fantasy points in that game. That could happen. You don't know when. You don't know if something will happen to White. But now we're a running back away. We're always a running back away if one of these running backs go down. And more than likely when Rachaad White goes down, that we've seen this historically, not when Bucky goes down. If Rachaad White goes down, then you really want Tucker. Jalen Hyatt. Why am I bringing up him? Darius Slayton's dealing with a hamstring. And I see you guys complaining at other waiver wire videos and articles. They're not deep enough. Here you go. Here you go. Cry me a river now. But looking at this, we're seeing Slayton deal with a hamstring. The sell on him is he's always cooking in training camp. Always cooking. But the meal's never cooked and prepared for you in season. Now we got a quarterback here, rookie year, running with his head cut off and all that stuff. Maybe we get our moment. Maybe we get our opportunity. Maybe not. But if you're looking for a guy that's ramping up a little bit, 38% snap share, 47% snap share, Malik Neighbors gone. This is very ambiguous, but that's what you got to look at here. If you're trying to chase somebody before they hit the fab, DJ Giddens, formula here. Jonathan Taylor, lots of touches. Prospect profile, very productive at Kansas State. Hitting early in her second year. We fall in the draft a little bit. Context-wise, this draft class is very good. Now, we're just seeing if this could end up being an injury. And workload-wise, we are getting some work. Even though Jonathan Taylor's zapping all of it, we're always the next guy in line. Everything's coming together. This is a primo stash here. Jonathan Taylor goes down. You're going to want him. If I got Jonathan Taylor, I got Giddens. Jalen Coker, if you got this IR spot, and then you got a guy on your bench that you're like, and then you look at the waiver wire, there's lottery ticket players that we've been talking about all this time. You know what to do. The IR spot is the cheapest spot on your team. You put him there, you drop your dude, you pick up another dude, you keep it moving. He comes back up. Now you got a value added to your team, whether or not that gets you production or not. Value, that could be trade market, that could be whatever, that could be hopium, but it's more value. Even more hope is more value if you really look at it like that. Tajay Spears, we're back. We always have a couple games every year where we hit. Tony Pollard, touches and work. Think about that. He can be explosive. This team's scrappy. I don't trust this team, but again, it's waiver wire. It's free. It's off the list. Torrey Horton, deep balls downfield, touchdowns. Who's getting the deep balls on this team? Cooper Kupp ain't. Jack Smith and Jigba's getting a lot, like everything, but he's also getting a lot of short shit as well. Torrey Horton, deep ball dandy. We see that in his prospect profile. We said that in his You Need video. 3 touchdowns this year. He can hit on that. He can get you to the fairway. He's done that 3 times this year out of 5 games. Splash play guy. Cooper Kupp goes down. You're going to want Torrey Horton. He is a handcuff wide receiver on this team. Marshawn Lloyd, Jalen Coker here. Same thing. IR spot, upside running back. He has not proved if he's good, bad for the NFL, the Packers, or for fantasy football yet. He's been banged up that much. That being said, if something happens to Josh Jacobs, everybody's going to want him, and he's free right here off the fab. If Josh Jacobs gets hurt, you have Marshawn Lloyd just sitting there in your free spot, your free square spot. Malik Washington, I did not do a You Need video on him last week because I couldn't get to him. I know it would have popped off because everybody was searching him up. I should have did that. I apologize. He needs to rack up a lot of catches or score touchdowns because he's not getting deep targets downfield. He is not really a replacement for Tyreek Hill. There's no replacement for Tyreek Hill. He's a totally different player. I think you saw that. Waller's going to get some work. You can kick it to HN. They're going to move it around. You're going to see that. He will get work. He will have some moments here. He will have a few splash games, maybe 3 of them. 3 to 5 games he's going to do something. Rest of them are going to look like this. 4, 6, 9. And then also Nick Westbrook. Probably some red zone looks. So you're going to have to gamble with him every week to see what happens. Gus Edwards, just in case the Chargers bring him back. I think that's self-explanatory, but if you want to, go get it. Luther Burden, top-tier handcuff wide receiver, a rookie here with a lot of upside. Missed minicamp, missed half of training camp, still raw with the team, so it's going to take him some time to ramp up. They're trying to figure out how to use him a la the Cowboys game, so you're going to have to wait. It could be next year. It could be like week 10 or so. You don't know. Isaiah Bond, quarterback situation sucks. His situation in terms of routes, snaps, targets, okay. Maybe you chase it. Maybe you're like, no, Shadur's going to end up quarterbacking. Deshaun Watson's going to be back there. Maybe we see a little zappy. That's how ugly this Browns team is. But those are the players we're looking at today off the waiver wire. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.